as of right now, is absolute chaos. Hi, we're Dan and Michelle with Honeymoon Always, and we are back. So for those of you who have been following along with our journey, we moved to Portugal last year, and then in December, we put all of our stuff into a storage unit and moved out of our apartment and went back to the United States to spend the holidays with our families. And now we're back in Portugal and finally getting our butts in gear and posting another YouTube video. So we thought it would be a great opportunity for us to answer some frequently asked questions. So we went through questions we've gotten on YouTube, questions we've gotten on Instagram, and then we solicited questions from our supporters on Patreon. So if you find this content helpful, we hope you will subscribe to our channel and follow along with us on Instagram at Honeymoon Always. So the first question that we have is, are you happy to be back? Did returning feel like coming home, leaving home, or something in between?
I think it felt more like coming home, even though we only spent 6 months here before. You know, we really like it here and really kind of settled in quite a bit. So coming back, it just felt great, not only with the climate and having friends here. Overall, it was just felt like coming home.
Yeah, so obviously we didn't have an apartment to land in when we got off the plane, and we stopped immediately at some friend's house with our luggage, and it was so nice to just have a community of people already here waiting for us that we had been missing and excited to get back to. So definitely felt like coming home to me. Okay, the next question is, how long can you spend outside of Portugal each year? It seems as though you were in America for a long time.
Yeah, so we were there just under 2 months, and with the D7 visa, you can spend 6 months out of the country if you spend 6 months consecutive within the country, or 8 months non-consecutive in Portugal and 4 months outside of Portugal. So for our first year here, we spent 6 months in Portugal and then left. And then this year, we'll probably do 8 months non-consecutive. But I also don't understand how they know if we leave Portugal but stay within the EU. Like if we go to France, there's no border patrol. So I don't know how that works.
If you know, let us know in the comments. Okay, this is a question from one of our Patreon supporters. Now that you've been here for, 6, 8 months, do you have any regrets about moving? And our thought is no, I think, yeah.
It's not been 100% easy, but...
Yeah, and I think we try to share a lot of the things that are harder for us on our YouTube channel because we think that that's helpful in helping other people prepare. And there are significant differences between how life works in the United States versus how life works here in Portugal. So we just try to share that. But those things that are hard are not anything we would categorize under like regrets. I truly don't miss our American life, and having gone back for a couple of months, it was really great to feel that sense of like comfort and home, just because you know how everything works and the food is all the stuff that you're used to. But yeah, I think it just really reinforced to us that this is where we want to be, at least for the next while. So, all right, next question. How was COVID coming back? Do you need a test to get into Portugal? Will I need a test to get in when I come to visit in 3 months?
In 3 months, like anything can change between now and then, so check the website. We'll put one in the description where you can check. For us, we kind of missed the worst of the last variant when we were in New York because it was kind of crazy before we got there. We got there, got a quick test, and tested negative, of course, and then we were able to come back pretty easily.
So one of our Patreon supporters is asking, what was the cost of our COVID test in the US?
Ours was free. As I said, we got in New York, and at least in New York, we got a free test. What did we bring back from the US?
Okay, so one of the things we brought back is the camera and the new microphone that we are filming this video on. We also bought clothes, I picked up a bunch of cosmetics and some medication. We knew we were gonna go back to the US for the holidays, so we packed a bunch of gifts in our suitcases to bring back to our families for the holidays, and then we thought, oh, we'll have all this extra space in our suitcases to bring stuff back from the US to Portugal. And we're not doing that ever again. It was so stressful to have that kind of scarcity mindset about needing to pick up all the things we could possibly pick up. And, a great thing about the United States is that there's a wide availability of products to buy. You can buy them as easily as you want and, very inexpensively, relatively speaking, and shipping is usually free. So like, kind of the sky's the limit. And with that kind of pressure of feeling like, okay, we have to get everything we can in the US before we go back to Portugal, it just was like really unpleasant and packing was stressful. We literally packed the bags to the exact pound that we could keep it in. Like we found out we had an extra pound available, so we brought back some ranch dressing for a friend. But we literally packed like to the max. And then of course that makes it like impossible to use your suitcases. And that also means that we didn't get to bring back the things that we thought we would get to, like giant bags of chocolate chips or stuff like that.
Which will help us stay healthier.
So that's fine.
One thing I will say is Amazon Spain seems to have improved a bit with our experience since we've been back. So we're in a house where they can just drop off the packages, which is super helpful compared to our last place. And they did some stuff that was like 2-day shipping or 1-day shipping, which before it took longer than that. So I'm hopeful that continues.
Yeah, there was some stuff we bought in the US from Amazon that we decided not to pack with us because it didn't make sense to bring with us, especially since then we checked on Amazon Spain. We're like, oh, these products are available for us to just have shipped. And even if they're more expensive, we're just going to do that. And I think our other takeaway is we are starting to really prioritize and think about what we value, what makes us feel more comfortable, what's going to make our environment feel more like home. And we're prioritizing those things, and we're going to be more willing to spend and not worry so much about like, oh gosh, well, we could get that less expensive in the United States. So we kind of saved we bought obviously a camera that we got like open box from Best Buy. So we saved extra money there, and we got a new microphone, and Dan brought a new cell phone, and just stuff like that like you're really going to see some cost savings, and availability was just easier for us to get in the United States. But there's a lot of things that we chose not to bring back with us that we tried to bring. Next question is, how is the apartment hunt going?
So it's going okay. It's not as easy as it was the first time we came here because we came during the middle of like a COVID spike, or as things were starting to get bad again. And it was like no competition to get an apartment. So we picked 5 apartments and went and looked at them and picked one from those. This time, there's a lot more people looking for apartments at the same time. And we're much more picky because we know kind of exactly what we want. We have like the ideal apartment in our heads, and so we're trying to find that. So we'll keep looking, and maybe soon we might have to like decide where we're going to compromise and like not get everything we want.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And we're very fortunate right now. We are coming to you from our friend's house in Estoril near Cascais. We are house sitting for them, and we are also watching their 2 adorable cats. So we've had some time to kind of settle in and look for apartments. And then actually after this, we're going to be dog sitting for a different friend. So
we're becoming professional pet sitters.
We're just going to stay at other people's houses until the end of time. But truly, this is giving us a lot of time to be picky, and we're also willing to stay in Airbnbs or whatever until we kind of get settled. So we are being picky. We'll see how long it'll be until that wears us down. What neighborhood are you looking in to rent an apartment?
Okay, so we're still trying to narrow this down, but we really love Estrela and like the Jardim da Estrela, and we lived in Campo de Enrique, so we like that area. We just kind of wanted to move out a little bit from there. So south of Campo de Enrique, east of Belém, west of Baixa, kind of like that. If you know, you'd have to know Lisbon to really get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a tax person you recommend?
No. We're working on that right now. Well, first I'll say, if you're coming here for retirement, it's pretty easy to find a tax person who understands exactly how it's going to work. So good on you on that. We are a little more complicated because we actually work. So we have being self-employed. If you come here to be a remote worker, then your taxes get a little more complicated. So you need to find a tax specialist who knows how to deal with that. And we've gotten so many different opinions from professionals that say like, oh, this is how it's going to be handled, this is how it's going to be handled. And it's hard to know who to go with, because I don't want to go with the person that says like the easiest thing, because I don't know if that's really true. I don't want to. So if we go with the most conservative person, like how do we deal with that? So it's just a mess. I hope to be able to recommend someone maybe in like a month from now who really gets it and who, you know, provides good service. But we're figuring it out.
Yeah, I will say it's been a pretty big headache for us. So our biggest takeaway from this part is if you are self-employed or are working remotely and are planning to move to Portugal, try to contact a handful of tax people to make sure that you feel comfortable before moving. Have you found Portugal to be more or less expensive than you anticipated?
For us, we did a ton of research before we came. I looked at other people's budgets. I watched YouTube videos and tried to see not only how much were they spending, but how did it align with how our lifestyle that we wanted. And that helped. And then I went and looked at actual apartments to try to see like where are the actual apartments that we want to stay in? Do they have the features we want? So I really did a ton of research to come up with a number. And I think there's only been a few areas that have been a little more expensive than what I expected, mainly being eating out, because people, talk about like the daily specials being €5 or whatever. And we spend more when we go eat out. That's kind of basics. I think other than that, everything's been in line. But we will say that some people like to talk about Portugal as if it's super cheap to live here. And while you can live very affordably here and spend a lot less than we do, depending on your lifestyle, that may or may not work for you. So just do your research, look online. You can see how much apartments cost. You can look at restaurants, see how much they cost. I know Expats Everywhere has a video of them walking through a grocery store, so you can see costs there. And do your research so you know exactly what it should be for you, and there shouldn't be any surprises.
Okay, our last question is, what does a normal work day look like for you two?
So there is no normal, what they said, work day?
Yeah,
there is no normal work day. We try to fit in a couple hours or a few hours every day working. That can mean anything from like writing articles on our website to filming a YouTube video. Yeah, there's no normal. And we try to just fit it in based on what else is going on in our lives. So right now we're apartment hunting, and at any time someone could say, hey, we have an availability to show you an apartment. And that's going to change our schedule.
Most people work Monday through Friday. We kind of work a little bit every day, and we just try to keep a lot of the balls in the air. And, we're planning our travels and writing
Dealing
and
with
filming.
taxes.
Oh, gosh. So, yeah, it is hopefully going to get a little bit more streamlined in the future. Hopefully we'll settle into an apartment and a routine, and maybe we'll have a different answer for this in 2 months or so. But as of right now, it's absolute chaos. All right, well, those are the questions that we have been asked most frequently on all of our social channels. If you have any additional questions, we hope that you will leave them in the comments section. We will try to address them there, or potentially even for a future video. If this has been helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and follow along with us on Instagram @HoneymoonAlways.